Ahoy and welcome. I am Lee, the Pirate Tester, and I am continuing to use Racket to interview people I've met. And today I am with Simon Pryor. Hello, Simon.
Hello, how are you?
I'm alright. How are you, Simon?
Yeah, good, thank you.
And I was trying to think, have we met? Or have we only interacted on Twitter? Have we met at a test bash? Or is it we
I
might have and it's just a blur of people?
We may have done. I think I only really started talking to you properly when you started the Tester Hangout last year, and when it first started, I joined it quite regularly. It's kind of dwindled off a bit now for me, but I do still try and drop in occasionally. But yeah, that's when I first really started talking to you. If I remember, we may have met at a test bash or a conference of some kind. Absolutely.
And that's the thing. It's always you can interact with people so much online. You'd be like, have we met, or is it just purely an online thing?
Yeah, I had that at Test Bash Home on Friday. So I got networked with someone in the networking thing, and he's like, "I'm sure we used to attend all these things together." I'm thinking, I don't remember attending those events, but maybe I did. So yeah,
So it just shows you've been to so many events. You're like, did I go to these things? Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It all turns into a blur now.
So Simon, please enlighten me and everyone listening. What do you do?
Okay, my current role, I'm a senior test manager at EasyJet, so I'm responsible for heading up all testing efforts across all digital platforms. So that's the website, mobile app, the customer contact center systems, and all the back-end systems that support it. So any one time, I probably have 7 or 8 projects that I'm working through, about 30 people that are responsible for the testing across those projects. Working in a mixture of agile and waterfall projects. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, but it's good fun. I'm trying to set the strategy across the whole group. And I'm also one of the co-hosts of the Testing Peers podcast, which we've just released episode 32 this morning, which is on communities of practice, and we're giving you a mention, Lee.
Well, you did in the testing notes.
In the notes, maybe not in the episode. Yeah, we intended to in the episode, but.
So it sounds like you've got a lot of spinning plates at work then, with the amount of projects and people then.
Yeah, I don't know. I always seem to land myself in positions where I've got multiple plates spinning, and it seems to be how my brain works as well. So yeah, I've recently hired a test lead who's taken on coordinating some of the smaller projects, and then I've been using offshore resources to cover some of the major projects. And then the Scrum teams, they kind of manage themselves within those projects. So yeah, it's just having oversight.
Fair. And what's your journey been to get to the role you are then? Because I imagine, it wasn't a case of finish school, boom, well done, you are now senior test manager at EasyJet. You there, Simon?
You still there? I can't hear you.
I can hear clicking. Oh, this is going to be terrible for anyone listening.
Hello, you still there?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you for a second.
Okay. Apologies to anyone listening, Racket. This cannot be edited. The joys of live software. So what I asked was, what was your journey to where you are now? Because you wouldn't have finished school, uni, whatever, and suddenly have been a senior test manager at EasyJet.
No, agreed. Yeah. I went to university. I covered computer science at university. Came out of university, and the only options I felt I could go into were development-related roles, and I really didn't want to be a developer. So I ended up staying at the university and doing cybercrime research for 6 months as a paid researcher. And when the money ran out, I then had to start looking at a job in the real world. So I applied to lots of graduate schemes, ended up working for a cybersecurity company as a graduate. We did a 6-month graduate scheme where I did 2 months development, 2 months testing, 2 months research. And actually, at that point, I wanted to go into testing, but I almost I didn't go into testing in the end. I joined the team that was with a development role because at that point I'd made a better connection with the team that I was working with. So I joined as a C++ developer. I was 15 years more junior than the rest of the developers, so I never really got the rub of the green on the development tasks. So I ended up taking on more of the testing tasks and eventually moved over into testing in 2010. And then since then, I've sort of worked my way up. I discovered the testing community probably around 2015. I went to my first test bash in Brighton, set up a Ministry of Testing meetup event after that, and then left that role in 2018, and took on a program test manager role. And then, moved to EasyJet in January 2020. And I've been there as a test manager and now a senior test manager since.
Cool. I want to know more about like the cybersecurity research thing.
The cybercrime profiling. Yeah, that was. So it was basically researching how we can plug criminals' data together over various media, sort of different connections over the web, over the internet. So where their footprints in different areas and trying to profile criminals that way. So bringing their data together. There is a research paper. I'll try and dig out a link and send it over to you. But I did write a research paper on it. So, I will do that for you.
And this is why I love doing these rackets, because I'm like, I didn't know that, and that's just immediately interesting. I'm like, that's quite different.
Yeah. I was looking at computer forensic roles, but didn't find any when I went to leave as went for graduate positions. So I never ended up pursuing that. But it is a passion of mine that I would have considered if I had not got to where I am now in the testing world.
Just imagine how things might be different if you got that, and like the test community wouldn't have you. You wouldn't be involved with the testing peers. It might not even exist.
Indeed, possibly not.
So, what advice would you give for people if they wanted to follow a similar path as you have taken then, Simon, particularly if someone wants towards test management, for example?
I think it's, I always had a passion for people, for looking after my people and making sure if you have a passion, then speak to your manager, speak to people that you work with, and start pushing for that passion. I had a manager at the time when I said I want to go into testing. He tried originally to try and push me down. No. Let's just send you on more development training courses and get you up to speed so you feel as confident as the others. And I was like, it's just not for me. I'm not getting enjoyment out of doing the C++ development. I'd rather start doing the testing. And eventually he's like, you know what? That's your passion. I'm going to back you. You go and do that. And he moved me across into the testing team, and the rest was history. So it's about having those conversations. If you feel you want to pursue a career in something different to what you're currently in, then just have those conversations with your management and see what happens. And if they support you in it, then you'll be on your way. And any manager that's worth their salt will support their team regardless of what activities they want to go into.
And it shows the power of listening to people that you manage as well, because if they just kept pushing you towards the development thing, it might just pushed you away entirely.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this has been a wonderful chat, Simon, even though a random technical fault in the middle. It's been really interesting chatting with you, hearing about your journey and about this paper.
Cool. Thanks, Lee. I'll find a link for you now.